All right, y'all, I'm attaching this comment so it links back to the video, not necessarily address. It has nothing to do with the comment. Love the comment, but I want this to have context, so I have to choose one of the comments in order to link back, because that's the only way TikTok can give y'all context, is through a comment. Big ass explanation. I'm about to get into yesterday's video because when I was journaling this morning after my meditation and my altar work, it's important to point that stuff out so you guys understand my process, because these are the things that are helping me get to the space that I'm at. So if my transparency is helping others, but I'm not being 100% transparent and telling you the process that I took, then you don't necessarily have a starting point. And I'm in no means trying to encourage anyone to do as I do, but I am encouraging you to find your process. And if you don't know where to start, I know I sure as heck am sending text messages to my tribe and be like, okay, I bought this sage, now what? I learned about Palo Santo because I posted my process and someone said, hey, this is the stuff you need. So that's why I say I did my altar work, I meditated, and then I journaled, and this is what came to be. I already introduced myself, Lonnie Appleton here. If you have a couple minutes, god dang, this nature is on me. Did y'all see that fly just go straight from my face? This is gonna be a multi-parter. One, because I already spent a minute and a half explaining history and process, but also because there's a lot here. And of course, I want to link back to the video, and I want you guys to go see the original video so that you can have context. Yesterday, I got confronted with a situation and energy. First, nope, let me go back. There's no such thing as problems. Anytime we run against something that gives us a pause, it's because we're supposed to pause and we're supposed to evolve. It's not for us to go through anything and come out the other end unchanged. If you have not changed or evolved in what we perceive as a problem, you missed the opportunity to grow. All right, so yesterday I'm in the parking lot and me and this guy, go watch the video, but we go head to head. It was probably his wife because the husband got out the passenger seat. So I was like, oh, okay. Females nut up way quicker than men do. So it's probably his wife. He was just like, and of course I'm on my side like, we both like, ain't nobody getting no fucking spot as far as I'm concerned. We both sit in this goddamn parking lot like, here, I got time. I will put this bitch in park. Man, I had a moment. I'm gonna get to the message eventually. But here's what I received this morning. That was a test. And in some respects I passed, in some respects I failed. Let's get into the failures first. There's a feeling in my gut that I have identified that I experience when I'm in a confrontational situation. It is very important for you to know thyself. So start paying attention to how your body feels, how your energy feels, everything when you're in certain situations. That way you can identify them when they come about. Part 2. I'm linking back to this comment, not because I'm addressing the comment, but because it links back to the video, and that's the only way TikTok can link back to videos. What's good, y'all? Lonnie Appleton here. If you have a couple of minutes, we are talking about lessons learned from the previous video that this comment links to. And I love you so, sister. I really appreciate everybody that I have met on this platform. This sis right here is tapped in. Check her out. I don't know if she does readings, but if she does and you want a reading, this sis right here is tapped in. At the end of the video, I was talking about how yesterday's interaction was a test. This is video 2. Yesterday's interaction was a test, and I passed and failed in both aspects. And I actually am proud of myself because the way that I left yesterday's interaction is totally different than I would have left it before, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So me and F-150, we're having a pissing contest, and, you know, I feel I win because I was the bigger jerk. But again, watch the tagged video, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But that's the issue, and this is how I failed, because I got confronted with a situation where I was like, okay, you're trying to punk me. And I wasn't trying to punk them. I was trying to say, this is right and this is wrong. Are you going to present human decency, or am I gonna have to force you to have some human decency? And they were trying to punk me, but ain't nobody gonna punk me. And they're feeling the same way. Ain't nobody gonna punk me. So now we are both sitting in the middle of the drive space, you know, where you drive in the parking lot, the aisle, the whatever they're called. We're both blocking traffic because neither one of us are going to be chumped. You ain't chumping me. And I left off last video because I was saying, in that moment, that feeling that I get in my gut, that I identify, okay, this is a confrontational situation, and how are you going to respond? This is my I finally made the connection when I was journaling this morning that whenever I feel that feeling in my gut, I automatically know this is a situation that I need to walk away from. Yesterday, I did not walk away from it because I wasn't going to be chumped. But the lesson that I have derived from that experience yesterday, and this is bringing meaning to it, not just me going through something and have a really cool video to post. No, let's derive some meaning. And the meaning that I derive from that is when I experience this feeling in my gut, that should trigger one, get up out of here, because when you act in this, you're gonna start some stuff. And whatever stuff you're starting is not for your higher good. The moment I give into this, I disconnect from source. And I'm not saying there's not time and place, but having a pissing contest in a grocery store parking lot ain't the time or the place. And who cares if a complete stranger punks you? That person don't matter. They're walking around with the gratification because they made you move out the way. You walking around with the gratification because you didn't disconnect from source. What's more important to you? Part 3. What is more important than raising a child? Plenty of things. Until you have a child. What's good, y'all? On the opportunity, if you have a couple of minutes, I want to answer this question right here. My good sis Trinity hopped in my DMs and said, hey, do you mind answering this question? And I said, show enough. Show enough. I think a lot of people take the gift that it is to raise a child for granted, myself included. But as I am moving more in love, in a loving space, in a providing and nurturing space with my children, I realize the honor and the gift that it is to raise a child. And I've said this time and time again, there's a difference between housing a child and raising a child. Most of us from my generation and the current generation, unfortunately, because my generation is raising the current generation, we were housed. Our parents, if we were raised by our parents, provided us with a roof over our head, food in our belly, and the occasional after-school activity. But otherwise, when the opportunity was to actually feed into our spirits, allow our individuality, and to help us evolve into the person we want to be, we divinely came to this earth to be. Our parents missed the mark. No fault of their own. I was talking to my father today about the struggles that my children are going through, and it was unfathomable to him. He was like, she doesn't know who she is. That's redonkulous. No, he didn't say that. I just wanted to say the word redonkulous. She's trying to find meaning in life. What? My father, who is a boomer, I think, he's 65, so whatever era that is, he finds it completely unfathomable that a child does not listen the first time, asks questions, needs answers, and has to take the time to unravel all the BS that I put on her in order to figure out who she is. So what is more important than raising a child? Nothing. If you have a problem with the state of the world today, it's because too many children have been housed, and that's what's running the world right now. Not enough children who were raised are in this world, and we're all trying to undo the crap and the psychological trauma that has been bestowed upon us by our families, our broken families who aren't there to support us, and we're trying to be progressive and raise our next generation in a way that we have no idea how to do because it was never demonstrated for us. The examples that are set before us on television are a fucking mess. So what do? We admit that we're flawed. You can't be so egotistical that you can't admit that you're flawed. I'm flawed as fuck. But in that admitting, I have now saved my 10-year-old, I've saved my 5-year-old, I've saved my 4-year-old, and I'm doing to work to repair the damage that I inflicted on my 17-year-old. And what's more important than that? Absolutely nothing. Are you raising or are you housing? Raising your children should be your #1 priority.